Greetings. Hit the like buttons and subscribe if you like the video. I'm Crypto Snake, and today I'd like to discuss, as the video is so aptly named, why Bitcoin fell. Today we'll cover a bit of news and overall technical analysis of Bitcoin and where it might be headed in the coming days and weeks. So, I'm sure a lot of you are looking at the market today and seeing a whole lot of red. All of the altcoins are just bleeding. So why did Bitcoin fall? Well, if we go down to the 1 hour chart, you can see it wasn't looking that bad. It was actually starting to get some bullish support here and pull up out of the 1 hour cloud. Not normal for it to break the cloud like this and drop straight through. So, as you know, the crypto space is very volatile. Basically what happened was the SEC announced that they were going to delay the Bitcoin ETF, which caused a huge dump off in the price. My theory on this obviously is that Bitcoin itself, as much as people don't want to believe that it was almost entirely, the pump was almost entirely because of the ETF, unfortunately it was. Now, the reason that the altcoins have also been bleeding on the way up as well as the way down is honestly because of the ETF pump. The ETF pump kind of acted similar to the way a crypto exchange listing would work for an altcoin. As you might or might not know, when a coin is being listed on a new exchange, that price pumps up very high and then follows by a massive dump. ETF was no different. Earlier in about 3 months ago, when we received this pump here up in this area, let me just draw that for you. This pump produced a really lucrative alt season. Now this pump here was not that much different, but for some reason most of the alts were almost entirely not affected by it. So why is that? Well, as I said, it acts just like an exchange listing. So when people saw Bitcoin's price going up, and the people who initially jumped on due to the ETF, people abandoned their altcoins and went straight into Bitcoin. Now, the problem with that, obviously, just get rid of these lines. The problem with that is that it destroys the altcoin market, not only going up, but also going down. So, even with bullish news, this was posted the same day, just before the fall. Bitcoin price eyes 7.4K after defensive key support. So the technical analysis here actually supported Bitcoin continuing on a slow uptrend, but it dumped off completely, absolutely destroying it. And if you ended up shorting it, well, you know, congratulations, you probably made a lot of money on the way down here. If you didn't and you're riding it, you know, we're honestly, we're going to be seeing Bitcoin down for at least a little while. Based off the bear trend here, just another continuation off of the highs off of 20K. I honestly think this entire ETF pump was more of a newsworthy pump, not necessarily a pump related to Bitcoin actually resurging. As you can see here, we are about to test one of the critical support areas on the RSI, which could produce a minor pump back up. As I've been saying though, Bitcoin will likely be plateauing for a little while. There might be a few pumps here and there, but I honestly think 20K by December is probably out of the question at this point. So where do I see Bitcoin going right now? There's tentative support at 6,300 area, give or take 6,350. More tentative support at 6,370, which it appears to be bouncing off of the lower RSI section down here. And holding a little bit of support here, but I think it will level off at 6,300. If we do see a break up, I don't think it's going to be anything massive. I definitely don't think we're going to be returning up to the 8,500 area, or even possibly getting close to 8,300. I don't have any tentative targets on how high it might go, but I do have tentative targets on how low it might go. It looks like last time we plateaued about 5,800 was where we were. Still in a downtrend, but That is my secondary support. If 6,300 is broken, it could head down to 5,800. And past that, honestly, if it breaks that area, which is certainly possible, we could be looking for $3,000 Bitcoin. Now, that's not to say Bitcoin will be dead. That just means that's a great opportunity for you to actually scoop up more Bitcoin for cheap, and just ride it high. So, all right, let's get on to the news though. So bullish news. Coinbase is boosting its crypto buying limit to 25,000 a day. So what does this mean for the market? It basically means that there's a lot of money actually flowing in of people who actually have a decent amount of capital, which is good. That's very good for Bitcoin. The amount of volume going in obviously dictates the price. So on the global market cap for Bitcoin right now, we dropped, almost $20 billion in that last drop, which was basically everyone who read that news. And keep in mind, the SEC delay happened almost to the minute on this drop here. Let me see if I can find it. And yeah, you can see here this giant slope off right here was basically everyone who had been waiting for that ETF, waiting for it to, it's gonna moon up to 20, 30,000 as soon as that ETF hits. Well, the ETF got delayed. All these people said, oh wow, well, I've lost all the money from when I entered up here. I guess I should cut my losses and get off the shit now. So as you can see here, there were bear flags forming because of the lack of news on the ETF. A lot of people were getting wary, and immediately, as soon as it's announced, this entire dump off happens here. People just abandon the ship. They'll probably hop back on when the ETF gets closer, back in September, around the September 30th. I would expect another Bitcoin pump around there. But yeah, again, alt season is pretty much canceled right now. As for the Bitcoin dominance, we were up at 50%. We dropped a little bit down to 48.5. It's pretty much been staying at this peak here. Now, unfortunately, just because Bitcoin dominance went down does not necessarily mean that alts went up. As you can see, alts actually went down as well, basically because people pulled out of Bitcoin and went into the US dollar. So when Bitcoin hits bottom, and when enough people actually abandon ship there, I think a lot of them who abandoned their alt positions will actually be jumping into their alt positions again, which could produce a lucrative pump. And yeah, so before I get into the rest of the news, if you'd like to join our free Telegram for insights into the market, including Bitcoin and a sneak peek into my personal entries and exits, join at t.me/cryptosnakepit, and links are in the description below. Also, in our VIP group, we've actually been making some savage gains throughout the bear trend, pulling 10% just this week, 10% this week on an ADA call, and 20% on a WAN call. If you want information on how to get into the VIP group, the information is also down below. So, back to the news. This story actually was pretty interesting to me. Amir Taqi, he basically fought with the YPG, the Kurdish militia, over to fight ISIS. And he's actually looking, and I don't know, this is more interesting to me than it probably is to a lot of you, but it seems like he has an idea for cryptocurrency that doesn't apply to just, we're gonna make these smart contracts, whatever. He wants to basically create a free state solution through crypto, so to anonymize transfers of money and stuff like that to rebel groups. And it's borderline on bad news towards terrorism, but it's kind of interesting because it would be very helpful to the Kurds who have been under the thumb of tyrannical regimes and stuff like that. So if you guys want to check out this article, it's at CoinDesk. It's a pretty interesting article. It's actually supported by Cody Wilson, and he's basically behind. I forget what his company is called, but basically they were behind the original designs for 3D printed firearms and giving firearms to everyone. They're pure libertarian. It's an interesting story. And yeah, so That's pretty much all the news and all the Bitcoin analysis I've got for you guys right now. So tentative targets are 6,350, give or take. Past that, 5,800. Who knows where it's going to go? Once I start seeing some bullish confirmation, make another video and give you guys some insight on where that's going to go. Again, if you guys want to join us in our VIP group, we've been making some savage gains there. Information is in the description below. And that's it. This is Crypto Snake, signing off.